This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
All right, Fact Check This daily, and I'm back in the driver's seat today after having to take yesterday off. The snowstorms and everything whopped us pretty good last week, and so the kids didn't have school at all, which worked fine. But then yesterday we were on a 2-hour delay and first day back and all kinds of other stuff. So I had to deal with all of that and wasn't able to get back home to sit down and do a daily. So I am back. And interesting little, so a week or so ago, Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary for the White House, had come out and said that Biden would not be taking any more questions or answering any more questions, and like he wasn't going to be dealing with the press anymore for the rest of his term. That he was done and gonna ride off into the sunset or whatever. Well, apparently that wasn't the case, and as we've all discovered over the last couple of years, Biden has a tendency to go off script and say things that he's not supposed to from time to time. So maybe the intent was that he wasn't going to take any more questions or be in front of the media anymore. And then he decided he didn't like that. And so what we end up getting is a little bit of a, I don't know that I would call it viral, but it's stirred up some reaction. Biden blasted after saying that he would have beaten Trump. That's not all he said, though. President Joe Biden is facing backlash, just before leaving office after insisting that he would have beaten incoming President-elect Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. Biden withdrew as the 2024 Democratic presidential nominee in July after weeks of scrutiny and intense pressure following a disastrous televised debate with Trump during the previous month. Some Democrats have been second-guessing the decision to replace Biden with Vice President Kamala Harris, who went on to lose every swing state to Trump, while others have suggested that the incumbent president would have fared worse. During a news conference at the White House on Friday, a reporter asked Biden if he regretted his decision to run for re-election or thought that the candidate switch-up made it easier for Trump to win. "I don't think so," Biden responded. "I think I would have beaten Trump, could have beaten Trump. And I think Kamala could have beaten Trump and would have beaten Trump. It wasn't about, I thought it was important to unify the party." Sorry, Joe, hate to break it to you, but if Kamala could have and would have beaten Trump, then she would be president-elect right now, not Donald Trump. They should have stuck with Biden's not going to be talking to the press anymore, because like just go ahead and finish the weekend at Bernie's act with him like they did with Jimmy Carter, and let's all just move on. But they had to let him out to talk again. Biden made similar remarks in an interview published by USA Today on Wednesday, saying yes when asked whether he thought he would have defeated Trump for a second time. Although he also said he did not know if he would have had the energy to finish the second term. Newsweek reached out for comment from Trump's office via email on Friday night. Former Trump advisor Steve Cortez, on a Friday post to X, formerly Twitter, "Wow, Joe Biden's completely lost it." Political commentator Meghan McCain, daughter of the late former Republican presidential candidate and Senator John McCain, said this is pathetic and it needs to stop. When you got Meghan McCain coming out and telling you, like, Meghan McCain isn't terrible all the time, but also it's, John McCain's daughter, so she's pretty bad a lot of times. But like, when she's saying, Biden needs to shut up, maybe Biden needs to shut up. And like I said, they should have stuck with the plan and not let this motherfucker talk to the press anymore until after he has left office. But they couldn't do it. They need to push something out in the news all the time. And since they're kind of losing on all fronts right now, I've got some other stuff, like Pete Hegseth. They're going to have trouble trying to derail his nomination. Linda McMahon seems like a shoe-in. You've got John Fetterman, who's come out and publicly said that he's going to vote for a lot of the Trump nominees. So even from within the Democratic Party, they're going to have trouble like putting up a stone wall to keep the cabinet appointments out. Like it's, I think Pam Bondi is sounding like she's probably a pretty solid lock. Like they're just losing on all fronts right now, and in an attempt to stay relevant, you're going to roll Joe Biden out and let him talk to the press like this. This is very brain dead on the part of the DNC to keep letting him speak to the press, especially as badly as he's done with it of late. But I mean, that's where we are. Progressive political commentator Jack Cochilero. Sorry, golly, suck at that name. Cochirella. Kamala saved your legacy. Please stop saying this. Please stop talking. Sink from the Young Turks said Biden says he would have beaten Trump. He also said, who the hell knows on whether he could have served a whole term. He's finishing with an approval rating that is an astounding 35%. Trump's first term was considered really bad. Biden is mental. Okay, with an approval rating at an astounding negative 35%. Trump's first term was considered really bad at negative 4%. Biden is mental. Yeah, I think Biden's approval rating at numerous times throughout this 4-year term has hit and then broken all-time lows for presidential approval ratings. Just like Kamala Harris literally had the worst approval ratings for a vice president for as long as they've been keeping track of approval ratings for vice presidents. Like, to say that this administration has been an absolute disaster and a train wreck is almost insulting to train wrecks. Like, it's been bad. Biden will officially leave office on January 20th when Trump will be inaugurated and begin serving his second and final term. They made sure to include and final term. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, Biden remains the only politician, Democrat or Republican, to ever beat Trump in an election. Well, I mean, it's because, it's because he was a man. Women do not need to be competing with men in anything, especially in politics, especially competing with somebody like Donald Trump, who is not going to pull punches and play nice. One more week, and it is official. I'm trying to decide, because I'm off work on Monday. I might, if things work out right with getting the kids to school and stuff, I might try to do like some live inauguration coverage on the show and have that be like the daily stuff. We'll see. I will update later in the week as I get a feel for how that's going to look. Also, for those who are interested, for this week's regular episode, I'm going to be reading the Time Person of the Year article that they did on Trump. It was very well written. It was a really good piece, in my opinion. I thought it was very fair and to Trump and to what happened over the course of 2024 and just the whole thing. It's very long, so it'll be a long read, but I think it's one of those that's worth reading. And I know a lot of people are not going to take the time to read Time Magazine, but you might take the time to sit down and listen to me read something from Time Magazine. So we'll do the Time Person of the Year. That'll come out on Thursday. And then I've got a couple other interesting little articles that'll fill in the dailies for the rest of the week. They're setting up to drop the economy in Trump's lap when the bond market craters. Headline yesterday is Trump inheriting the best economy ever. They have been touting this best economy ever for a month or so and really hitting it hard over the last couple weeks. Something that they also haven't talked about over that same period of time is since about mid-September, inflation has started to creep back up. And since I want to say it was mid to late October, it's been creeping up progressively quicker and quicker. So like for all of that, all of the talk about how they brought inflation down, which they never brought inflation down, they brought the rate of inflation down. So instead of inflation going, up almost at a straight line, it was going up at a slightly less straight line. So, completely fudged job numbers as well. I'm sure Johnny and I, so the non-farm jobs reports came out on Friday, and Johnny and I will be doing peddling fiction this afternoon. We did Friday's peddling fiction a little earlier in the day because we both had stuff going on that afternoon. So we did the show before the jobs reports really had a chance to be picked over and looked at. So we'll probably talk about the jobs numbers from Friday on today's show. And yeah, I mean, that's something that we've seen consistently over and over again is the jobs numbers they always get adjusted down. So like whatever this month's jobs numbers are going to come in at, they're probably going to be bullshit. They also will release the adjustments for the last 2 months as well. And undoubtedly those are both going to have been adjusted down. The like over 1 million jobs that they over reported over the course of the last year is just fucking insane. So anyway, I'm sure we'll be talking about some of that this afternoon as well. So yeah, it's could Joe Biden have beat Trump? No. Does anybody really still believe that Joe Biden actually beat Trump in 2020, especially after seeing the the total vote numbers and the aberration that was 2020, where the number of votes for Republican candidates for the last 20 years has stayed pretty steady, and the total number of votes for Democrat candidates over the last 20 years has pretty well stayed steady, except for 2020, where all of a sudden you just get this massive spike. Does anybody believe that does anybody looking at that believe it's legitimate? I honestly think that a lot of Democrats even like look at that and go, oh, maybe we did fucking cheat. Anyway, we will talk more about that later. Like I said, I will update with plans for covering the inauguration later in the week. Check out this afternoon around 2:30 Central. I'll be going live with Johnny Profita for Peddling Fiction. Time Magazine article on Person of the Year, Donald Trump, on Thursday. Yeah, I think that's everything. All right. Catch you when I catch you. Later.